Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the second highlight lecture of IAC2009. I'm Hong-Sik Choi, the Secretary General of Local Organizing Committee. The Republic of Korea has achieved admirable economic growth over the past 30 years. The first phase of such high-speed growth mainly concentrated on manufacturing goods-heavy machineries. Having established infrastructure, Korea entered the second phase economic growth based on more advanced technology such as IT/BT semiconductors. It is now the right time to enter the third phase of growth on energy and space under green growth. Today, we have two speakers for this session. Our first speaker, Dr. Chan-mo Park, is here to tell us a story about technology that enables us to proceed green growth. He was awarded his first degree in chemical engineering at Seoul National University and received his doctorate at University of Maryland in 1969. He started his teaching career in 1969 at University of Maryland, and this includes professor and chairman of computer science at Catholic University of America from 1982-1989 and president of Post-Tech of Korea. Between 2003 and 2007, other than teaching, he also served as special advisor to the President of the Republic of Korea for science and technology. He is now serving as president and CEO of National Research Foundation of Korea. Please welcome Dr. Chan-mo Park. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you very much for introduction. Well, my background is computer science, and even so I got my degrees in chemical engineering. I worked with the computers since 1960, first with the IBM 704, which was the first generation computer. So today I would like to talk about the development of information technology in Korea, because IT is really basis for convergence technology, and which is related to space technology. Then I will talk about the converging IT with the other technologies. Well, first, let me congratulate for the 60th IAC2009. And after a brief introduction, I will talk about the current status of information technology, then convergence technology, but in relation to green growth, which is a kind of a topic today, then I will go into conclusion. Well, as you know, the 21st century is characterized as ubiquitous and globalized convergence technology. What we mean by ubiquitous society is IT is incorporated into everything around the earth in a form of technology convergence, such as RFID, radio frequency identifier, USN, ubiquitous sensing network, embedded software, etc. And especially in space technology, embedded software is very important. As maybe you know that NATO, the first trial is stopped after just before launching, 7 minutes before, and one of the problems was a software problem. Well, ever since ENIAC was invented in 1946, hardware developed, and the capability of the computer became very faster, smaller, and mobile. And the software, on the other hand, became reliable, flexible, and user-friendly, and embedded. Very important thing is marriage of computers with the communication network, which they made widespread of multimedia and internet. And there are many applications, but I'm mostly doing in technical computing applications, and today I'll be talking a little bit about that one. Well, as you know, Korea is very strong in information technology industry, especially in semiconductors and cellular phones, among the other things. And application of convergence technology to solve global problems such as climate change is very important. Well, let me show you how national, the Korea grew in terms of GNP, GDP, so on. I'm comparing 1946 and 2006, And if you look at population, just about twice. However, GDP is about 200. GMP per capita GMP is about 250 times, and the GDP is about 650 times. How come we had such a rapid growth? Because of the IT, mostly. Well, here's a picture comparing 1950s and current 2000s. Well, when Korean War started in 1950, that time I was only 15 years old, and right after the Korean War, the Seoul looked like this one, and now it looks like this one, even more advanced than this one. Okay, then let me go into the information technology. Well, Korea is technically one of the most advanced countries in the world. Well, you can see, how many people are subscribers for the internet, so on. And the IT sector in 2004, was about 50% of GDP, contributed to the GDP, and about 30% of the total exports came from IT. When you compare that with the value of 1997, the only 7.2 points of GDP was contributed from IT. Now, with the new government, we have a new plan applying convergence concepts, and we have the new term called green IT. So this is an application of IT to low carbon green growth paradigm, which President Lee Myung-bak declared last year, such as intelligent transportation system, smart grid, intelligent building, energy management, so on. The areas of IT industry development in Korea, well, there are many, but I'm just emphasizing some related to space or the climate change, expansion of telecommunication infrastructure networks, e-commerce, wireless technology, and mobile commerce, and of course software technology. Then there are services related to information technology, like internet-related service, industry-specific software, such as applying to automobiles, shipbuildings, or spacecraft. And smart card and intelligent traffic system. Intelligent traffic system is very important for the, whether the climate changes. Microsoft promised to invest $60 million for Korean IT industry for next 3 years, and IBM opened a cloud computing center in Korea. We need manpower in IT, so education on IT in Korea is also very extensive. There are over 200 four-year universities in Korea and 152-year junior colleges. Most of them have departments or programs related to IT. I just gave you an example of Department of Computer Science and Engineering at POSTECH, where I used to be president. POSTECH stands for Pohang University of Science and Technology. And many professional graduate schools, such as Graduate School for Information Technology, and government also support to foster qualified IT manpower. My organization, NRF, National Research Foundation, is doing such, not only R&D support, but manpower development support. And our budget for this year is about $2.5 billion, which is not a small amount compared to our GDP. And as you may have heard about this WCU, World-Class University Program, which, Korean government is emphasizing to make some of the universities like world ranking university. And out of 52 projects selected this year, about 1/2 is convergence or IT related. Then, in order to have more qualified IT education, we launched something called the Seoul Accord this is similar to Washington Accord in engineering area. And in last year, we declared or launched, and initial signatories are USA, UK, Japan, Canada, and Australia, of course, with Korea. So because of this one, we have quality of IT education in Korea expected to improve significantly through thorough code, and the job market for IT graduates broadened to encompass both domestic and international. Well, this is a signature of those signatories, and this is a memorial picture. You may know some of them met yesterday. Well, let me go into convergence technology. Before I talk about the convergence technology, let me introduce briefly about the science and technology policies of Korea. Well, the first thing was MB577, which is basic plan for our SNT, the policies. The first 5 is input. We would like to make 5% of GDP used as, for R&D. Then next 7 is 7 focused areas of R&D and the system. So you can see there are 7 focused areas in R&D, and the 6 and 7 global issues such as climate change, global warming. They are one of the issues. So global issues related technologies, and basic and convergence technologies, another one. The systems, there are 7 systems, world-class human resources, that's like WCU, and science and technology globalization, that is international collaboration. So the last 7 is output. We would like to become 7, one of the 7 major SNT powers in the world. Emerging growth engine, and they identified 17 items in 3 major industry areas. The first, the area is green technology industry, and in there we have 6 items such as new and renewable energy, low and reduced carbon energy, and green transportation system. Also, with the emerging convergence industry, we have IT-based convergence system, robot, applications, so on. Then with the third area is value-added service industry, such as contents, which is related to software development, and MICE, which means meeting, incentive, conference, and exhibition like this, IAC, and tourism. Okay, then we have R&D structures for emerging green technology. And as I mentioned last year, President Lee Myung-bak declared low carbon green growth as the new paradigm. And originally, we had traditional green technology, which consists of energy resources, high efficiency, and treatment technology. But with the new concept, we are adding convergence green technology, such as IT, information technology, biotechnology, nanotechnology, cultural technology, space technology, and environmental technology. The expected effects of combining this one is to overcome limitations of existing technologies and create new areas in technology. So current status of green technology, I think Dr. Wu may be talking this one, so I will skip this one. We analyze the current, the status. Then our goal is to raise our level of green technology to 80% in 2012 and 90% of the world level by year 2020. And the creation of job positions, world market occupancy, as of now 1.4%, but we would like to raise that on to 7%, then 10% by 2020, and the environmental sustainability index also we would like to raise. That's our goal. Well, convergence technology, what is it? That's a dream which comes true. Well, probably you ever saw that Inner Space, that's fiction movie and science fiction movie, And that time, maybe you wouldn't believe that will be happen. But in 21st century, yes, it is realizing that, it comes true. When I was a very child, I saw many movies with the robot fighting with a human being and, trying to go to moon and so on. That time, we thought it was impossible, but now it's possible, right? So convergence technology make our dreams come true. And this one shows just some examples, the converging IT, BT, and NT. You can have health service applications, appliances, telemedicine, next generation fuel batteries, futuristic automobiles, innovative component materials, and so on. So the SWOT analysis of convergence technology of Korea, yes, we have some strong point that's world top in IT technology and infrastructure, but we have also weakness such as weak in technical competitiveness and fundamental technology. That's what we are emphasizing to raise that one. Then insufficient experts in convergence technology. But we have opportunity, like a prospect of the huge explosion of related world market, but we have some threat, like advanced countries, they have IPR, and the characteristics of the convergence technology is long-term and very high risk. And so we have some strategic service areas on convergence of IT, BT, and T. Well, our needs in future society is a healthy life, pleasant and safe environment, easy communication, and energy resource efficiency. So we, then for this kind of needs, there are some demands on service, and we have strategic service on convergence technology. Well, only one organization cannot do that on. So we have, organization like government, research, academic, industry, but very important thing is overseas organization, that is international collaboration like this one. And formulation of a national basic plan was formed last year, and it is in charge by KISTAP, and NRF, which is my organization, to survey and analyze state of convergence technology and prepare national basic plan of convergence. Then it will go into action committee on convergence technology, and the MEST, the Ministry of Education, Science and Technology, and the Ministry of Knowledge Economy, they will be, they are responsible for establishing national plan, and finally it will go to National Science and Technology Council, which is a control tower as long as science and technology, and it is presided by President. Now, types of technical convergence. In previous administration, we were talking about only type 2, converging NT, BT, IT. But with the new administration of Lee Myung-bak, the type 1 is the converging those emerging technologies with the humanities, social sciences, finance, and culture. And the third type is converging with the traditional and key industry and state-led industry. So if you look at type 3, converging new technology with the existing industry and state-led, such as intelligent automobile, space technology, ubiquitous city construction, so on, and this is very important for this congress. And the ministries involved, there are 7 ministries involved with developing convergence technology. And we have vision, goal, and strategy, and paradigm shifts. So, well, I don't think I have time to go into detail, but those materials you can get from website if you are interested in. Or you can write to me. I will send my copy. This is implementation of strategy, such as creativity, practicability, and infrastructure. And this is the action plan. So we will have a basic plan revised every 5 years. However, we will have annually submission of annual action plan, and it will be, reported to the NSTC, then confirmed. So, and also for this submission of annual action, the government, the action committee and NSTC give some guidelines to the ministries. Now, we are trying to fight against climate change. When we talk about the climate change, such as natural disasters, destruction of ecosystems, environmental degradation, and pollution. And as you know, they are major threats to the humanity. So, Korea's CO2 emission from fuel combustion was 489 megatons in 2007, which is about 1.7% of the world's total. And that's the 9th highest level in the world, which is a kind of shame. We are trying to, reduce this quite a bit. So, emission of CO2 is a source of global warming. So, we would like to tackle that one. So, they came up with 10 policy directions to achieve 3 objectives. The 3 objectives are mitigation of climate change and energy independence, creating new engines for economic growth, and improvement in quality of life, and enhance the international standing. So, for the mitigation of climate change, we would like to have effective mitigation of greenhouse gas emissions, reduction of the use of fossil fuels, and the enhancement of energy independence, strengthening the capacity to adapt to climate change, and creating new engine, the greening of existing industries, and promotion of green industries. And in order to do that, the role of information technology is very important. Well, to improve our life, quality of life, greening the land, water, so on. So there is an example of reducing CO2 emission. Well, when I was in Germany in 1985, see, at that time I lived in USA. In USA, you don't care whether there is emission or not. But anyway, in Germany, if you are stopping at the cross section with the traffic light, you are supposed to turn off engine. That time I had 2 automobiles. One was the very new one, and another one was an old one. The old one, if I turn off, it's very difficult to turn on. But anyway, it was a rule. Well, now we would like to have this, when idling time is reasonably long, we would like to let the automobile automatically stop the engine. So Korea Institute of Machinery and Materials, KIM, they developed a device that stops engine automatically when gear is in neutral. So when you stop, you put into neutral. Then idle time is, if the idle time is 5 seconds, then the engine will be stopped, right? After that, if you take off the brake, so to move, then it starts automatically too. So they examined that device, experimented with the device, and the result showed that they could have a fuel savings of 9.4% and a CO2 reduction of 10.7%. So, because it's so good, Ministry of Environment of the Korean government suggested to install this device to city buses, okay? But besides the city buses, many private cars, they also have them installed. So next step is to synchronize the device with the traffic signal light that shows time to change. So there are many signal, traffic lights which shows, how many seconds it will change. Then with computer vision, you can notice, oh, well, this is long enough. Then it will shut the engine down. Well, this is an experiment they did by Kim, and how am I doing? I think I better stop soon. So I'm not going to. They first experimented with the engine, how much efficiency they could have, and they did. This is the engine test still, and then results was the fuel consumption. When you are in idle, of course the fuel consumption is small. When you try to start engine, it uses more fuel. So they wanted to know whether, the stopping the engine many, many times and restarting will be really economical or not. And they found out, yes, it was. Then this is a vehicle experiment, and they used something called New York City cycle mode, which is the congested area. They were driving a car and showed when idling, you stop the engine and so on. So the result which I already mentioned was from this experiment, such as the New York City cycle mode, the total idle time, how many percent time per idle, how many seconds, mean speed, fuel efficiency, fuel saving, as I mentioned, 9.4, and CO2 reduction was 10.7%. Well, conclusion. As I said, the 21st century is the era of ubiquitous, globalized, and convergence technology. IT is very important, and it becomes the basis for convergence technology, such as software embedded in spaceship, convergence of IT and space technology. Korea, very strong in IT, and we can utilize. I found in Korean newspaper that some of the participants suggested to apply, the IT in Korea because IT is strong to the space technology, which will make Korea ahead of the current stage. So then global issues such as global warming, climate change, energy shortage, etc. Requires green technology, and MB government declared, as I said, low carbon green growth. Not only they declared, it was presented at the G20 summit and well accepted. So IT-based technology convergence is solution to cope with global problems, including climate change. And in order to do that, international collaboration is very important. Well, thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you for the wonderful lecture, Dr. Park. Now we have, for the second part of our lecture, our speaker is Mr. Ki Jong-woo, and he will give us an interesting lecture on green growth policy in the Korean government. Mr. Woo graduated from Seoul National University and began his career as a government official. He took the key role in various areas during his career, such as Director of Planning and Coordination at Ministry of Ministry of Finance, and Secretary to the President of National Economy and Secretary General of National Foundation Commemoration Program. He is currently serving as the Secretary General of Presidential Committee on Green Growth. Knowing his experience and intelligence, I cannot be more certain he has prepared a great lecture for us. So please give a warm applause for Mr. Woo. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Secretary General Che, introducing myself, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And it is great honor and my great pleasure to speak at International Astronautical Congress 2009. Last August, Typhoon Morakit one of the deadliest typhoon in history, hit hard Taiwan and China. In Taiwan, an entire village was buried at the southern part of the county of Kaohsiung. And in China, damages from the storm amounted to $1.4 billion, and 10,000 homes were destroyed, and 1 million acres of cropland was flooded. Over 11 million people were affected by Typhoon Morakot throughout eastern China. While many factors play a part, climate change is cited as the biggest component to the volatile weather in Taiwan and China. We are recognizing global warming has complicated the frequency and intensity of natural disaster. What I am going to talk about today is what Korea has been doing to correct the many errors in our conventional fossil fuel intensive development. It is low carbon green growth. My presentation will start with a brief introduction of the motivation of green growth policies and how these policies will turn crises into opportunities, and then how they will result in real actions on the ground. And finally, I will end my presentation with some identification of future challenges. Why is Korea working so hard to achieve green growth? First, climate impact is very evident in Korea. The average temperature rise in Korea during the last century more than doubled the world's average. Second, energy bill has surpassed $140 billion US dollars, which shows Korea is very vulnerable in terms of energy security. Third, Korea is falling into the swamp of economic slowdown. Growth rate has been declining significantly since the late 1990s. Even more worrisome is that our growth is not being accompanied by rise in employment. The overall situation can be said in a figurative way: we fell into an inescapable trap. In other words, we are in perfect storm. That is why a new path is needed, and we believe the path is green growth. What do we mean by green growth? The concept of green growth was rather recently developed, but much attention has already been given. The underlying assumption of traditional growth is that there is a trade-off between environmental sustainability and economic growth. If you achieve one, you destroy the other. Green growth comes from a positive thinking. It breaks away from the negative perspective and turns the trade-off into a synergistic interaction between the two. Simply put, green growth means that as we go green, then we get million jobs. How can we do this? First, through development and deployment of technologies. Second, through necessary policy tools such as regulation and incentives to guide action. And last, through promoting public awareness to bring about the lifestyle change. The President Lee Myung-bak proclaimed the low-carbon green growth vision in commemoration of the 60th anniversary of the Republic of Korea. If the paradigm of the last 60 years was on economic growth, then the paradigm for the next 60 years is green growth. President Lee doesn't believe this is simply an environmental policy or an energy program. We also don't believe this is for the next election. Green growth is for the next generation. It's all about the changing people's behavior and way of thinking in facing a new civilization. Green growth is a new paradigm of progress. As you can see this graph, Korea has very high environmental stress and vulnerable to environmental effects, which leaves Korea with little option but to change. However, we also have high capacity to adapt, which places us in a very good position to change. If you look at this SWOT analysis, our strength is our capacity to adapt. We are a very small but very dynamic country. Even more important, we have a strong leadership from the very top, which allows us to move even faster. However, our weakness lies in our industry structure, which is still very energy intensive. What are components of our green growth strategy? First is the strong green leadership from the very top, and the president has put this matter as top of national agenda. He has established the Presidential Committee on Green Growth as an interdepartmental agency that ensures an integrated approach to green growth. The committee not only crafts strategies and action plans for green growth, but also oversees and coordinates policies of different governmental departments. Second, the vision is being integrated into all sectors of the society. We have meaningful partnership with private councils, such as business, industry, financial sector, technology experts, and we build more partnerships with local governments and social groups. Third, we have a strong industrial base in relevant areas such as semiconductors and IT, and large competent players are now turning to green industry. Last, we are turning our vision into real actions. We are not just talking, but moving. We are going to sustain this drive with real actions. First, we are laying the legislative foundation by pushing to have the Basic Act on Green Growth in place by this year. Second, we will inherit the positive spirit of the economic development plan in the 1960s and 1980s, which led to the Korean economic development, and formulate the national strategy and the 5-year implementation plan for green growth. So we will continue to expand our green budget, not only for Green New Deal, but we will reorient public and private finance toward green policy, R&D, and SOC. Also, we will start the national midterm target for greenhouse gas this year, which will provide clear signal and great momentum in our drive. Now I will go a little bit more in depth on some of the key initiatives. First is the Basic Act on green, low carbon and green growth. The act is a basic act, which means the act has a priority over other relevant laws regarding green growth issues. If I can point out some of the key contents of the act, it provides a legal ground for the Presidential Committee on Green Growth and mandate the committee to develop a national strategy for green growth, where we will establish 5-year implementation plans. It mandates the government to foster and support green economy, green industry, and the transformation of conventional industry. It contains articles to foster financing for green technology R&D and green investment, as well as mandates to promote eco-friendly tax reform. It mandates government to set concrete targets for greenhouse gas emission reduction, energy saving, energy security, and renewable energy supply. Also, it provides the legal framework to introduce cap and trade system in Korea. Finally, there are articles on environment-friendly land use, green building, low carbon transportation, green consumption and production, and other issues related to sustainable development. As some of you may know, the act was proposed by the Prime Minister, ex-Prime Minister Mr. Han, and presented to the National Assembly. It will be up to the Parliament to finally decide on the enforcement date of the act. However, the government is very keen on passing this act because the act will be central to the pillar of Green Growth Initiative. Next, I will talk about the Green New Deal. The Green New Deal was announced in January of this year to address the global economic recession. It has 9 key projects and 20-some supporting projects that sum up to 50 trillion won. Most talked about project is the 4 major river project. One of the most immediate threat to Korea is water stress. To secure sufficient supply of fresh water and to enhance water resource management, we increased the budget for river project from 14 to 19 trillion won. Now, let me talk about the comprehensive long-term strategy for green growth that will enable Korea to systematically pursue and expand the vision of the low-carbon green growth. We have set 3 objectives: increasing energy security and climate adaptation, new engine for growth, and enriching quality of life and exercising international leadership. To achieve these strategies, 10 policy directions are set. The policy directions suggest the major tasks that Korea put priorities on. As a kickstart of such strategies, we will craft a Green Growth 5-year plan between 2009 to 2013. Approximately a total of 107 trillion won of the government budget will be allocated in this 5-year plan. This estimated green investment is around 2% of Korea's yearly GDP, which exceeds UNEP's recommendation of 1% of GDP in green investment. I'll go back to the 10 key agenda in Korea's green growth national strategy one by one. The first item is to build a low carbon society. That will start from setting a mid to long-term greenhouse gas emission reduction target for the nation. It will be followed by specific policy measures of carbon monitoring and management, such as carbon visibility index and a national greenhouse gas information management system. Second, we will break our oil addiction to improve energy independence. Our key energy plan centers around energy consumption, conservation, and clean energy expansion. Currently, Korea's energy intensity is 83% higher than an OECD average, and renewable production among the total energy supply is only 2%, 4%. To improve this situation, we will foster renewable industries such as solar, wind, fuel cell, and coal IGCC. We will expand nuclear energy facilities by 32% by 2020. Through these efforts combined, we aim to achieve the total energy independence by 2050. Third, we will strengthen our climate actions against inevitable climate change. We will establish a top-notch climate monitoring and early warning system to provide more reliable data and predictions. To improve our adaptation capacity, we focus on water. We will restore river ecosystem through the 4 major projects, which will induce more efficient and effective water management. By improving efficiency in our water management, we aim to provide sufficient fresh water to the nation in a more stable manner. First, we will put greater emphasis on green technology innovation. We will use incentives and support programs for green technology development and deployment. Green Start program is designed to alleviate short-term risk for technologies that are fledgling but subject to immediate commercialization, while Green Pathfinder program is to improve basic fundamental research. We will take a strategic as well as integrative approach to green R&D, which includes promoting synergistic collaboration among government, business, and academia. And we will prepare differentiated strategies best suitable for each of various strategies of technology advancement from incubator to commercialization. We will establish a research complex, Green R&D core, to take advantage of economies of scale. Fifth, we will promote a society doing more with less through resource circulating activities such as returning scrapped electric equipment such like cell phones. We aim to more than double the resource circulation rate from 10% as of 2009 to 22% in 2020. We will green conventional industries, including steel, fiber, petrochemicals, and shipbuilding. We will also green and innovative our economy. We will foster high-tech fusion industries such as broadcast communication, convergence industry, biomedical equipment industry, and robotics industry by eliminating inefficient regulations and providing necessary infrastructure. We will also foster high value-added service industries. Seventh, we will build the basis for a green economy in terms of a sound and effective financial sector and sufficient and capable labor force. We will invigorate carbon markets, promote sustainable banking and green finance, and introducing eco-friendly tax. These measures will be geared toward expanding green economy and creating high-paying, decent green jobs. Next, we will green the land and the transportation system to build a solid base for low-carbon green growth. We will green living space by expanding green homes and offices, which will be integrated towards construction of world-class green cities. We will promote bicycles and railways as major ways of transportation. For instance, the proportion of railway will be enlarged to 26% by 2020, and 30% by 2050. Next, we will make changes at the root of our lives by promoting green consumption and production and green lifestyles. For this purpose, we will introduce necessary incentives as regulations such as eco-point system and the carbon labeling. All this taken together, Korea aspires to be a green role model for others. Korea will play a bridging role between developed and developing countries by presenting constructive proposals at climate change negotiations. Great efforts to find common ground and synergistic collaboration projects with other countries will be pursued. In this vein, we hosted the first East Asia Climate Forum on the 29th of May, a ministerial-level policy dialogue on how to ensure sustainable economic development while taking effective actions against climate change. Also, Korea initiated the OECD Declaration on Green Growth on the 25th of June, which recognized the imperative of green growth and outlines the basic principles to strengthen relative cooperation to pursue economic development and combat climate change. Korea will help developing countries in the neighborhood to build resilience to climate change and to find low-carbon development paths. Korea will contribute to the global fight against climate change by launching the East Asia Climate Partnership, spending approximately $200 million over the next 4 years to support East Asian green growth. Korea also aspires to position itself to be a green hub where best practices, relevant expertise, technologies, and information concentrated. Through the green investment, we expect to have a positive effect on production inducement in the amount of ranging from 182 to 206 trillion won over the next 5 years, which translates into an annual sum of 36 to 41 trillion won, which is amount 3.5% to 4% of Korea's annual GDP. One distinctiveness in Korea's green investment plan is that it will create job opportunities for both skilled and unskilled laborers. Skilled jobs include greenhouse gas emission reduction certifiers, emissions permits trading certifiers, green building evaluators, and certifiers, among others. Unskilled workers will have job opportunities in forestation, green landscaping along the waterways, and construction of small and medium-sized dams, among others. Once we have a legal framework, a long-term strategic plan, and concrete implementation plan, a workable budget, public awareness and support to push the green agenda will become crucial. Building consensus among the various stakeholders and gaining continued support from the general public will be the #1 issue we are focusing on. To facilitate the consensus building among various interests, the government will provide a positive outlook for the low-carbon future, one that connects with everyday lives of people. As Anthony Giddens said, scaring people is not going to work. Martin Luther King did not stir people to action by proclaiming, "I have a nightmare." By showing what opportunities would be waiting out there when people make all these sacrifices and changes, we can actually get people into taking real actions. This is what Korean government has been trying to present to its people and the global community. As President Lee said, green growth is not option. It is the only choice for Korea. We need this strategy to jump over the chasm, and we believe it will open more possibilities. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wu. And I personally found this 1 hour long lecture was very interesting and meaningful. I hope that you enjoy the rest of the Congress and as a local organizer and take a wonderful memory back home. Thank you again for joining this evening. Thank you very much.